18th century Paris, a city of beauty, filth, and revolution. Welcome to Paris in the 1700s, one of Europe's greatest cities during a century of elegance, enlightenment, and ultimately, revolution. Using advanced AI technology, we'll transform centuries-old engravings and paintings into photorealistic scenes, allowing us to step directly into the streets of 18th century Paris and experience daily life as it truly was. Throughout the 1700s, Paris was home to around 600,000 people, making it one of the largest cities on Earth. It was the beating heart of European culture, home to artists, philosophers, and Enlightenment thinkers like Voltaire and Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who questioned monarchy, religion, and the very structure of society itself. But behind the grand palaces and elegant facades lay a city of shocking contrasts. While aristocrats lived in luxury along the Seine, most Parisians crowded into dark, filthy neighborhoods where poverty, disease, and hunger were part of everyday life. And by the end of this video, we'll witness how these tensions finally exploded during the French Revolution of 1789, when centuries of inequality erupted into violence that changed France and the world forever. The Seine, lifeline of Paris. This view looks along the Seine River toward the Isle de la Cité, painted in the 1750s by Nicolas Jean-Baptiste Regnet. The Pont Neuf spans the river, already more than 150 years old, completed in 1607. In the 1700s, the Seine was a working river. Timber rafts floated downstream. Barges carried wine from Burgundy, grain from the countryside, and coal to feed Paris's massive population. The quays were crowded with dockworkers and carters hauling goods through muddy streets. On the right bank rises the gilded dome of Les Invalides, while in the distance stand the twin towers of Notre Dame Cathedral, sitting on the Isle de la Cité, the birthplace of Paris itself. Yet the river was far from clean. Raw sewage and industrial waste flowed directly into the water, creating a powerful stench. Despite this, Parisians still drew their drinking water from the Seine. Today, the river is cleaned and protected as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but in the 1700s, it was both the city's lifeline and its sewer. Notre Dame and medieval Paris. This early 1700s engraving by Pierre-François Bazin shows Notre Dame at the heart of Paris. Construction began in 1163 and took nearly 2 centuries, creating one of the greatest masterpieces of French Gothic architecture. But unlike today's open plaza, the cathedral was once surrounded by tightly packed medieval buildings. The streets were narrow, dark, and filthy, covered in horse manure, rotting waste, and open sewers. The smell was overwhelming. Yet despite the squalor, Notre Dame remained Paris's spiritual center, hosting royal ceremonies, religious festivals, and daily masses attended by everyone, from kings to beggars. The surrounding medieval buildings were cleared in the 1800s. The cathedral itself survived revolutions, wars, and fire, most recently the devastating blaze of 2019. Though reopened in 2024, restoration work continues even today. Palace luxury beside urban filth. This is the Hôtel de Soissons, built for Catherine de' Medici in the late 1500s. Its most striking feature was a 28-meter astronomical column used for astrological observations, reflecting Catherine's deep belief in astrology. By the 1700s, the palace housed noble families and elegant formal gardens, an oasis of order and beauty. But just beyond its walls lay Les Halles, Paris's central food market. The surrounding streets were among the filthiest in the city, covered in rotting vegetables, fish guts, animal blood, and mountains of horse manure. The contrast between aristocratic elegance and urban misery could not have been sharper. The palace fell into disrepair and was demolished in 1748. Today, no trace of it remains. The temple and a king's prison. This neoclassical gateway marked the entrance to the temple, once headquarters of the Knights Templar, later controlled by the Knights of Malta. By the 1700s, it was a semi-autonomous district, exempt from normal laws and taxes. Aristocrats sought privacy here, and craftsmen avoided guild restrictions. During the French Revolution, the medieval tower became infamous as the prison of Louis XVI and his family in 1792. To prevent it becoming a royalist shrine, Napoleon ordered the entire complex demolished between 1808 and 1811. Today, nothing remains. Versailles, power on display. No story of 18th century France is complete without the Palace of Versailles. Built by Louis XIV between 1661 and 1715, it became Europe's largest palace, with over 700 rooms and vast formal gardens designed by André Le Notre. In 1682, Louis XIV moved the entire court and government here, turning Versailles into the center of political power. While nobles competed for royal favor in glittering halls, ordinary people across France struggled with poverty and hunger. This enormous imbalance would one day ignite revolution. Today, Versailles remains one of the world's most visited monuments and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Science, soldiers, and the state. Paris was also a city of science and institutions. The Paris Observatory, founded in 1667, became a center of European astronomy. From here, Giovanni Domenico Cassini discovered 4 moons of Saturn. Nearby stood Les Invalides, founded as a hospital and retirement home for wounded soldiers. Its golden dome, completed in 1706, remains one of Paris's most iconic landmarks and now houses the tomb of Napoleon. 1789, the city explodes. By the late 1780s, France was bankrupt. Bread prices soared. The nobility paid almost no taxes. The people were starving. In July 1789, Paris erupted. On July 13th, crowds stormed the prison of Saint-Lazare, searching for hoarded grain. The next day, they marched on the Bastille. This engraving by Jean-Pierre Howell shows the storming of the Bastille on July 14, 1789. After hours of fighting, the fortress fell. The governor was killed, and his head paraded through the streets. Though only 7 prisoners were freed, the message was unmistakable: royal authority had been broken. The French Revolution had begun. Closing. The palaces, churches, and institutions of 18th century Paris tell only half the story. Behind the grand facades lived a population crushed by inequality until they changed history forever. The ideas born in revolutionary Paris, liberty, equality, and popular sovereignty, spread across the world and continue to shape modern society today. If you enjoyed this journey through 18th century Paris, comment below with the city and era you'd like to explore next. Your hometown might be featured in a future episode. Thanks for watching. And as always, we'll see you in the past.